You know, when you hear something and you think that can't be true, that can't be real, that wow. It feels like with the post office scandal that everything that is emerging today as the first part of the investigation reveals its findings is just incomprehensible. You're listening to it thinking this can't get any worse, and then it does. I mean, some of the stats and the figures and the numbers that come out: 350 people died before a payout. 13 people completed suicide. 59 tried to. 900 submasters were prosecuted and 236 went to prison. Yeah, how many have been charged? How many of those that were complicit in this have been charged? 0. And you read and listen and hear the victim thoughts, their stories, their pain, and you realise that this was so much more than we'd even begun to think it was in the first place. You know, when Mr. Bates and the post office came out, I think was when I certainly became first aware of it. And then today, when I hear about what happened to these families in the intervening time, you know, that focused very much on proving that the Horizon system was so completely flawed. And then we saw that they won. We saw that the post office victims won. But arguably what's happened since then has just been an extension of their gaslighting, of them being ignored, of them being pushed to the side, of them not being shown an ounce of compassion or integrity. You know, these are people that were made bankrupt. The shame that befell on their families, the mental health erosion, the families ruined, the attempts on their own lives, the way that some were ostracised by families, communities and friends, that nobody would believe them. The mental anguish of not being believed is a torture. It is an actual torture. And it has very, very, very real consequences. And 900 people were prosecuted. I mean, at what point in that 900 people did somebody not turn around and say, what? 900 people? Oh, how did it get to 900 people? And I hear this and I read this and my head's spinning with how this can be. How is this a thing? And I'm terrified. I am terrified that we live in a country where this was allowed to happen. It erodes any level of trust that you could have in doing the right thing. Good will prevail. Sense will prevail. These people were attacked every single step of the way. They were... I'm really struggling to put it into words. They were treated in the most inhumane way possible, and they were all innocent. And that, to me, is the headline. These were innocent, good people. People in the community that were running post offices. The linchpin of so many communities. And they were stripped piece by piece of everything that made them who they were. All of those moral fibres, all of the good was stripped away until there was nothing left. And for those that kept on fighting, for those that could keep on fighting, they lost their lives. They remain alive, but they lost their life. And yet we still haven't compensated them. How? How? I mean, original estimates were that there were 10,000 people eligible for compensation. They now think it's significantly more than that. Bet it is. How have they not had the biggest financial compensation package that the UK has ever heard of? How have they not had that? Money can't make it better. It's the only way that we deal with compensation in this country. It will never make it better, but it's the only way that we judge and we gauge it. How have these people not been compensated to the highest degree? And when I hear all the reports and, you hear the sound bites of the MPs, we're doing our best to go fast and furious. Your best isn't good enough. Your best is nowhere near good enough for these people. You just do it. You do it now. You just pay them now. You let them have their lives to whatever they've got left back. You let the children of those sub-postmasters who were wrongly accused and who served prison sentences, so lost their childhood, lost their parents, the parents whose children were wrongly accused, the families, the communities who watched on and could do nothing. You pay them now and you give them back what tiny vestibules they've got left. And the fact that we're even having this conversation, the fact that this is even needing to be said, makes me feel sick. I'm appalled. I have no words. It's, horrendous.